With round 5 of the Gearbox Cup moving from East London to PE, we all boarded the big silver featherless bird and flew back down to the beach. As Aldo Scribante appeared over the engine cowling, I was really excited to return to a track I'd raced before. But one of the nicest things about getting to a track is to get in touch with all those guys you haven't seen and renew old acquaintances.
Yeah. Early birds, boys. Let's go, miss. Everybody's
Folks, we have a little challenge this weekend. There's some very healthy looking brake package inside the Yarises. Now, I've had an advantage in these guys all year under braking. I think that's been taken care of. So, might be fun dealing with them this weekend.
Friday, dawn bright, sunny and very warm. We weren't the first guys out, much later in the day than normal, but I thought I'd take the opportunity to scrub in a new set of front tyres, work on that mid-corner roll speed. You're going to see me get that slightly wrong, pushing a little long on the hairpin right here, but altogether not a bad lap. However, the track wasn't at its best, and I found I struggled with what felt like grit on the surface. We just didn't get the braking performance or the lateral grip that I was expecting. Nonetheless, the lap times turned out to be right on the money, with good pace right from the offset. Unfortunately, my timing system was up to its old tricks and I wasn't getting my lap times whilst going across the finishing line. Something we'd resolve for the later sessions, but all in all, not a bad first outing. Right, first session done and time to check in with the technicians.
So I've got a weird thing. So this car, firstly, it won't accept the downshifts. The first time I touch it, nothing happens. I pull it, nothing happens, and then I have to hit it a second time to shift.
Okay, the guys are here with their laptops.
Yeah.
Okay, let me see if I can erase something.
So, and then third, the car definitely turns better. It's got better rotation.
Okay.
But there's just no grip across the front axle, and I'm just wondering either it's tire pressure or it's just the new tires that are giving me the unbalance. Will you check that one for me, just because that one's working so much harder? Right folks, first session done, generally a good one. We're third overall, second in the media challenge, just about a second off the pace. Didn't really get a really clean lap. Even my quickest had to deal with some traffic, so happy with the times. The car felt quite loose. The lap didn't feel fast, but yeah, sometimes it can be that way. Sometimes it feels a bit deceiving, but the stopwatch never lies, right? We had a bit of an imbalance front to rear on the grip on the front axle versus the back. I've got new tyres on the front. It might just be that, or we can tune that off with tyre pressure. So not too worried about that. I'm sure we'll get it figured out. And then we're just going to work on mid-corner roll speed the rest of the day. See if we can find those last few tenths. But overall, I'm happy. Not a bad start to the day.
There's not much to report from session 2. It was a bit of a scrappy session, really battled to get a clean lap and find space amongst the traffic. You'll see on occasion me getting upset and trying a few interesting places to get around traffic, none of them successful. We sort of kept our powder dry and tried for session 3. Session 3, this was to produce the best time of the weekend for me, somewhat surprisingly. I was protecting my new fronts because I'd need them for qualifying tomorrow, and doing my best just to drive smoothly and carry corner speed. And you can see evidence of this in the lap. I'm trying very hard not to take too much out of the front, but just drive things very smoothly, but all the while just trying to work on that mid-quarter speed that I've been focusing on. You can see that here in hanger, pushing as hard as I can without putting too much energy into the tires. Down at the hairpin, we're going to shift down to third gear rather than second, again to just look after heat and wear on those front tires. Up, shift to fourth for Chevy, trying to carry pace through mid-corner. And you can see the lap time building nicely throughout the lap, just maintaining those gains as they come along. Quite early onto the brakes here, back to third, patient on the throttle. Excellent exit, this using just about the perfect amount of track and drive toward the line. Not a bad time. At this point of the weekend, I'm actually brimming with confidence and really looking forward to qualifying the following morning. We're about 6/10 off the pace, but I know I've been conservative and just looking after my resources, and I'm confident there's another half second and an 11.5 is easily achievable in quali. In high spirits and on my way to the hotel, we engage in a little friendly banter in the bus right before the disaster of qualifying the following morning.
Jay,
Yo,
you having a lekker warm bath with bath salts tonight? What's your prep secrets?
so you see the prep secrets, it's quite a very involved process. It's what do the kids describe it these days as self-care.
Self-care. Self-care.
So in that self-care, got to make sure the fro is 100%, and then what I do is I take the mineral water, splash the face with that, you know, everything in between.
I'm not sure this was in the Gen X manual.
So you gotta make sure. You gotta make sure.
Look, it takes all sorts, eh?
And all your Smarties, a box of Smarties, that helps.
So the race has started before we've even started qualifying. There's a bit of jostling going on here between Nabil and Devon. Everybody's looking for the clean air out front. So we're where we want to be. We're behind Nabil. He's got a little too much pace, and I'm worried he might gap me, but I think it's still better having somebody quick in front. I just try my best to hang on to him. The idea is that we're going to push this first warm-up lap hard. First flying lap will be for time. We'll try and put a banker in, but we expect to get the fastest lap on the second flying lap when everything's nicely up to 10. Key is to just not make any mistakes those first two. I do have very worn rear tires, and I don't think it ultimately costs you too much lap time, but they take a long time to come up to temperature because there's just less rubber there, so you got to work them really hard to for them to give you the grip. So we'll focus on that on the out lap. Just review the basics. We're in track mode. We've got traction control off. Everything else set where it will be.
That cocky little statement is about to turn around and bite me hard. We sit in these cars a long time before the sessions, and to try and stay sharp, I do a lot of gymnastics with my feet, with my hands, just to keep the blood flowing and to keep me sharp and up. Even to the point where Nabil in the car in front notices this and gives me a little tease. At the moment, I'm blissfully unaware that somewhere along the line I've managed to flick from the sport mode into the eco mode on the dash below me. can clearly hear now that the gear shifts are unpredictable and not responding to my commands on the steering wheel. This has compromised the lap entirely. I'm just not at maximum pace. You can see Nabil disappearing down the road. Now bear in mind I've just got this lap, first flying lap, and one more to sort this out. At the moment I don't understand what's gone on, so I elect to leave the car where it is, not engineer it on the lap, and just try to qualify in auto mode, which it's in at the moment. At the end of the lap you're going to see that I get a low 112. That in itself is not a terrible lap time, but I know we're at least half a second short of where I need to be. I really needed to be in the low 111s if I wanted to be right up front. This means I've now qualified in third in the media challenge, but worse still, I'm 7th overall, behind some of the very competitive dealer cars in front. And I know boxing through those cars on the first few laps is almost impossible. And this is really going to compromise my first race. And such a stupid mistake. Just didn't have the mental capacity to figure out what was going on in the moment. Right here I could have toggled the switcher if I thought that was the problem, but I genuinely believed there was an issue with the car, and hence elected to qualify with it as is. Stupid, very costly mistake on my part.
I really screwed it up. We were in the wrong setting there, completely my fault. Car started shifting on its own and not me, and then I double shifted. So I completely screwed that up, and I'm going to pay for it because now I'm back in the pack. I don't know where we qualified, but I can tell you it's not good. And guys, I've been avoiding talking to you because
qualifying session, warm-up sessions have all come to an end. Marshals.
let's try that again. I am, well, to say I'm acid is an understatement. I have made such a bad error in qualifying that I've made my day really tough. Leaving the pits, I managed to knock the switch on the car that took me from the sport setup into the standard setup. That means if I'm trying to drive it in manual, it overrides me and the car shifts on its own. Now the car can go quite quick in auto, but when you've grooved the track and you know your gear shift points and you want to do things at exactly the right time, you really have to drive it in manual to get the best out of it. And during my flying laps I didn't really understand what was happening. I couldn't understand why the car was shifting on its own. I thought there might be a problem, but really it was just that switch I managed to hit. I've now had a shocking qualifying. I'm right in the thick of all the cars I didn't want to be in. And what irritates me even more is the time I got driving a lap in full auto was okay. And half a second would have leapfrogged me to the front of the field. So, school fees, but I'm angry with myself right now. I'm gonna try and go and compose myself and put it behind me. Anyway, stuff happens, right?
So at this point my lowly grid position is what it is. We're still on the outside. As per usual, I get a lovely launch, get some overspeed on the cars in front of me, but I'm stuck out wide with everybody on my right, nose to tail. There's just no way to get into the train, and I ultimately have to back out on the next corner. And this is what happens. You get past and I actually get shuffled backwards. The trouble now is I have one of the Yarises in front of me. Now, we used to be able to outbrake them, but on their new package, there's nothing wrong at all with their braking, and it's consistent throughout the race. So I just don't have a car advantage anywhere. And I know I can deploy faster lap times, but I just can't get through the car in front and I can't go forward. So this turns out to be a very frustrating race. I'm just stuck here and having to live with the consequences of my poor performance. Don't get me wrong, I try my heart out. I keep trying to get better exit speed. and overtake the car in front through that, but as you'll see from a few attempts, even that's not working for me. So this corner is a great example. You can see I set myself slightly wide, gentle onto the brakes, early onto the throttle in third, and drive for exit. A lot of overspeed on the Yaris in front of me, pull up to his bumper nicely, but at some point the lightness of that Yaris just comes into play and the power starts pulling him away. So even though I've done everything right out the exit, I'm just not close enough on the brakes to have a crack at him. So, heat 2 then, and I'm in a world of pain, buried back in 11th overall. One of the issues with not being able to overtake and being stuck in battles for the whole first heat is you don't get to deploy a fast lap time. So not only is Brandon ahead of me on the track, but so is Tay, and a whole bunch of dealer drivers as well. So, we know how difficult it is to overtake from the first heat. I've decided to get super aggressive on the first lap and try and steal as many spots as I can. And you're going to see me do that. I'm going to make some choices down the straight here that are perhaps a little iffy. At the end of the day, the path I choose doesn't work out. Very wisely, I choose to back out of it because at all costs, I don't want to surrender the inside line. So that's the first objective achieved. I've managed to get past both Tay and Brandon in the early laps, plus a couple of the dealer cars. Let's look to go forward now. I'm dragging myself up to the bunch in front. I have the pace in hand. The problem is the car in front of me directly is Marius Klaassen. He had a small incident in the first heat and he's recovering from that. He's pretty quick, and he's got Andres de Villiers in one of the other dealer cars in front of him as well. I'm pushing like hell and over the limit to try and get there, but ultimately I end up with the same problem I had in the first heat, and we don't get to go much further.
A bit better. That was a bit better. Still thankful for my qualifying spot. But a bit of fun. Overtook. I think I got back to second in the media challenge. So.
And indeed, that's where we're going to end it today, folks. I did get back to second in the media challenge, 7th overall. There was some satisfaction in that. It was nice to go forward, make a few overtakes, execute a plan well, and it went a long way to making me feel a lot better about the weekend. Ultimately, it's tinged with disappointment through silly error on my part, but you know, school fees, and sometimes these tough moments teach you to be just better at what you do. I'm looking forward now to Killarney, second last round of the year, and going to go full send. I'm just going to really be as motivated as possible and bring my best self there and see if we can't make up for this one.